So this isn't going to be a complicated beast to slay in terms of review. Battlefield is back. I mean, if that's all you need to know, it is. This game takes us right back to where we started, adds everything we wanted, takes all the crap away we didn't want, and delivers it in a modern day package that looks amazing, sounds even better, and plays in a fantastic way. The netcode, the server structure, it all seems to be working fine, and yeah, I'm very happy with Battlefield 6 and very excited mostly for the future of this franchise now. So what do we get inside the box? Well, we've got 5 theatres of war, and then we've got 9 maps spread across those theatres. And then the actual modes themselves, we've got Conquest, we've got Breakthrough, we've got the new Escalation, which is pretty cool. Really like that one. We've got Rush, Domination, King of the Hill, and there's also Team and Squad Deathmatch. Out of all of these, I've played most of them now, and I'm really enjoying myself with each of them. Like I said, I think Escalation is the most exciting. It's the newest, and I like what they're doing with that. It's kind of like a little nudge towards Battle Royale, in the way that when you finish a stage, you actually have the area shrinking. Now, I'm really happy to see that they're actually going to introduce an actual Battle Royale mode fully, and that'll be free for all players, and I've always liked Battle Royale games, so that's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. So, since the first days of gaming, there's always been war games, but to bring a theatre of war together into a game and have vehicles, have infantry in a 3-dimensional environment all working together, Battlefield 3 was an absolute revolution. It came out in 2011, and even today it looks really good. Now, the really cool thing about Battlefield 4 was, apart from a slight bump in like graphical fidelity, was the fact they tried to like evolve the battlefield as you were playing, and I think it was pretty ambitious. And at first, for the first few weeks, I think people were pretty much in awe of these like massive events, like skyscrapers falling down, and that would change the whole dynamic of the battlefield. And so you then had to like reposition yourself and just enjoy the actual spectacle, and it was amazing. But after a while, it became a bit too scripted. People knew what was coming, and it just felt like the same thing over and over again. I always wanted something a bit more dynamic. Now, since then, we've had like Battlefield 1, which I actually quite enjoyed. I like the setting of that game. Battlefield 5, which started to see the decline in the series. And then we had the infamous Battlefield 2042, which both technically and in terms of design was, I would say, a failure. They removed the classes in that game, and they replaced them with these specialists, which made things a lot more open, give people the option to do whatever they wanted with the classes. And I think overall it was seen as a massive downgrade. So thankfully they've seen the light now, and they've put classes back into Battlefield 6, which is a huge win. Now each class feels like it's got its identity back, mostly. For example, my favourite class is support, so I now have the paddles built in and I'm running around reviving everybody, and it's great. And you can see the different classes when you run around a corner and you've got 3 or 4 friendly people in front of you. You can see what they all are, pretty much, because they're all doing different things, hopefully. So yeah, that's a massive win. So back in the older games, you would have definite distinct feelings between classes. If you were a recon, you felt vulnerable if you got your position approached close range. And I think that's how it should be, personally, and I would have liked that to be the case in Battlefield 6. Unfortunately, weapons are pretty much blurred across all the classes, and that's one thing that they have kept from the newer games. So some people might like that choice. They might like the fact that you can set up classes in a very distinct way. But I would prefer classes to keep their identity a bit more. But like I said before, at least we've still got the class system now built in, and so that takes us back to the old system. Weapon customization is great, got plenty of options. Some people in my friend group have complained that it takes too long, and I can kind of agree with that. There's loads of things you have to do, and like hoops you have to jump through before you get to some of the really meaty changes. Some of the actual later unlocks really do change how a gun works and how effective it is. And so people who are, you know, like sweating on this game 24/7, playing all week, yeah, they're kicking ass, and people who play occasionally, like once, twice a week, are getting left behind. I guess over time this is going to balance itself out, but for now I can see why people who haven't got much time would find this to be, you know, be a negative.
All squads are weapons free. Hold more objectives than the enemy to take ground. Let's go. Objective Bravo captured by hostiles.
So something people have been wondering about with Battlefield 6 was how far they would take the destruction. At first I started hearing about complete destruction, like being able to level entire battlefields, and then I think we found out now it's not entirely there, we're like 90% there. So I think the bigger buildings, you can't destroy them completely. So the bones of the building, like the superstructure, will still be there, but you can pretty much like knock out all like the fascia, all the walls, knock out entire floors, and the entire building will be rocking and shaking and feeling like it's coming down. Smaller buildings, yep, you can knock them down, just literally drive through them with a tank. A lot of street architecture as well, and just general things have been giving way under heavy weapons and heavy tanks. Surprisingly so, like I hit a tree and the tree just like bent over and gave way. So yeah, I've been overall really impressed. It's not on the levels of the finals, but that game has its own distinct feel, and I don't think complete destruction would have suited Battlefield 6. So yeah, kudos to the team. I think they've made the right choice with that one. I can't do this review with all good conscience without mentioning the EA situation. For those of you who don't know this, EA have been bought, and they're now going to be owned by a private investment entity, or numerous entities where the money's come from. The big one is the Saudis. Very, very long story short, they're trying to reinvest a lot of their money. They've got all the money in the world from oil, and they're trying to reinvest their money in things like football teams, media companies, that kind of stuff. And so they've decided to buy the biggest game publisher in the world. Now, that's bad enough in itself, but they've also been backed up by a company that's run by Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law of Donald Trump. I'm not going to get into what I think of Donald Trump. Needless to say, I don't like the guy about as much as you can not like somebody. And yeah, the fact that that man now has like a direct line into gaming, into the world's biggest gaming publisher, that scares the shit out of me, because Donald Trump has shown a real disdain for gamers and gaming, both in terms of his arrogance and his ignorance as well. He clearly doesn't understand what gaming is, and has speculated that it could be just gotten rid of because it has, you know, X number of false effects on people. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into it anymore. But yeah, I'm not very happy with the situation, and it's also worrying that the new owners of EA have speculated they could save money by investing in AI. So yeah, for a company that was terrible anyway, it's gonna get even worse by the looks of things. They're gonna sack a lot of people, use AI slop to fill in the gaps, and I don't see myself supporting EA going forward if this is the case. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be fine. But yeah, we will see. So yeah, moving briskly back into the actual game itself, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I think I've said everything I want to say about Battlefield 6. It's a really positive step forward for the series. They definitely needed to do this. This was needed to get the game's image back on the rails, and I think pretty much everyone I've spoken to who's played this has agreed. This is Battlefield back, and really now the ball is in their court. It depends how much they support the game. It depends how much interference they get from the new owners. Hopefully not much. If they're smart, they'll just let this momentum they've got now roll forward, and let the team make the DLC, make the new maps, I think they could do with a few bigger maps, so like the jeeps and the tanks can really open up and you know, cover ground in the same way the jets and the helicopters can like fly around a bit more without being like struck down straight away, and give you a bit more of a military feel to the game, because at the moment the maps are a little bit too small for my liking. I would love some bigger maps. Yeah, I think that's my big wish. But apart from that, I can see many months of fun ahead, and let's hope it all continues. If you're still here and you've watched the entire video, thank you very much. I would love to know what you think of Battlefield 6 and my review as well. If you've got any negative comments or positive comments, please fire away and we'll have a conversation. I love talking to you guys about gaming. And yeah, I will see you on the next video. It will probably be my full review of The Last of Us Part 1. A game I've wanted to review for a long time on video. But yeah, hopefully you'll see it in the next few days. And hope you're all well and stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care guys, bye.